Who are you? Not who you say you are. Not who you dream of being. Who are you truly? Look at your habits. Because your habits are your identity. Your daily actions are the truest mirror of your character. One habit can build you. One habit can break you. One habit equals new identity. You think identity is something fixed. You think you are who you are because of your past, your parents, your personality. You think change is complicated, overwhelming, impossible. But the truth is simpler, sharper, undeniable. Your identity is not what you say, it is what you repeat. Every habit is a vote for the person you are becoming. Most people get this wrong. They wait for transformation to strike like lightning. They wait for the big moment, the perfect plan, the sudden breakthrough. They wait to feel ready, inspired, motivated. But transformation doesn't come from waiting. Transformation doesn't come from wishes. Transformation comes from habits. Tiny actions. Repeated daily. One step at a time. You are not your intentions. You are not your dreams. You are not your promises whispered at midnight. You are your habits. And every habit is carving your identity right now. Say it with me, one habit equals new identity. Again, one habit equals new identity. Let it echo until it cuts through every excuse. Most people live trapped by old identities. They say, I am lazy. I am weak. I am not disciplined. I am not that kind of person. But those identities are not destiny. They are just habits repeated until they became labels. Change the habit and you change the label. Change the label and you change your life. Think about it. A person who runs every morning doesn't just run, they become a runner. A person who writes every day doesn't just write, they become a writer. A person who saves money every week doesn't just save, they become disciplined with money. One habit builds a new identity. And the opposite is true. One habit can destroy you. The person who lies becomes a liar. The person who quits becomes a quitter. The person who scrolls away hours becomes a distracted, wasted version of themselves. One habit builds. One habit breaks. Most people underestimate this. They think identity is built in huge leaps, massive actions, grand transformations. But identity is built in quiet repetitions, in small choices, in ordinary hours. You become what you repeat. You want to change your life? Don't wait for a revolution. Build a habit. One habit. Because one habit equals new identity. This is the myth we must destroy, the myth that identity is fixed, written in stone, unchangeable. No. Identity is flexible. Identity is alive. Identity is built brick by brick, choice by choice, habit by habit. Who are you? Look at what you do every day. That is your answer. Most people say, I want to be confident. But their habits are hiding, avoiding, shrinking. Most people say, I want to be healthy. But their habits are eating junk, skipping workouts, ignoring sleep. Most people say, I want to be successful. But their habits are procrastination, excuses, distractions. Words don't shape identity. Habits do. That person, the disciplined one, understands this. They don't just dream of identity. They build it. They start small. They stay consistent. They let habits carve their character. And over time, the world sees it. The world recognizes it. Because identity is visible. Identity is proven. Identity is lived. Say it again, one habit equals new identity. Do not underestimate this truth. One cigarette a day can make you a smoker. One run a day can make you an athlete. One page a day can make you a reader. One act of courage a day can make you brave. Habits are not small. Habits are everything. Your future identity is hiding in your current habits. And the question is simple: what identity are you building? What person are you becoming through repetition? This is the beginning. This is the introduction. This is the wake-up call you cannot ignore. One habit equals new identity. Most people dream of becoming someone new, but they keep living as the same person. They pray for transformation, but their days betray them. They want the crown without the weight. They want the glory without the grind. They want the new identity, but they refuse the new habit. That person, the one who truly transforms, understands the formula: one habit equals new identity. Not 10. Not 20. 1. Because the power of one habit, repeated, multiplies. Most people wait for motivation. They wait for the spark, the perfect day, the sudden rush of energy. But motivation is a storm, loud, temporary, gone by morning. Discipline is the river, silent, steady, carving the rock of your character. Most people live in storms. That person builds a river. Let's look at stories. Mini story 1. A man wanted to be fit. He tried diets, programs, bursts of effort. But every time motivation faded, he collapsed. Then one day, he made a small, boring, unglamorous habit: every morning, 20 push-ups. That was it. Day after day. 20 became 30. 30 became a workout routine. Months later, he wasn't just doing push-ups. He was an athlete. He didn't try to get fit. He became fit. One habit equals new identity. Mini story 2. A young woman wanted to be confident. She hated public speaking. She avoided every chance to speak up. She said, "That's just not me." But she decided on one habit: every day, she would introduce herself to one stranger. Just one. At first, her voice shook. At first, she wanted to run. But day after day, her courage grew. Months later, she volunteered to give a presentation. Years later, she wasn't just a shy person. She was a leader. One habit equals new identity. Mini story 3. A boy wanted to be a writer. He dreamed of books, fame, respect. But he only wrote when inspiration came. And inspiration rarely came. Another boy made one habit: write one page a day. Not 10. Not 20. 1. After a year, he had 365 pages. A book. Not because he was gifted, but because he was consistent. He wasn't becoming a writer. He was a writer. One habit equals new identity. Mini story 4. An entrepreneur wanted to build wealth. He thought success was about giant deals, flashy moments, sudden wins. But his money leaked into meaningless expenses. Another entrepreneur built one habit: save 10% of every dollar earned. Always. Years later, his savings became investments. His investments became freedom. His freedom became identity. He wasn't just someone trying to be smart with money. He was financially disciplined. One habit equals new identity. Mini story 5. A woman wanted to feel spiritual, grounded, centered. She read books about peace, but she stayed restless. Then she built one habit: every morning, 10 minutes of silence, no phone, no noise, just her breath. At first, it was uncomfortable. But day after day, her mind changed. She wasn't just a busy woman. She became someone at peace. One habit equals new identity. Do you see it? The power is not in doing everything. The power is in doing something consistently. Most people scatter themselves. They try 10 habits, quit all of them, then say, "It didn't work." That person chooses one habit. They protect it. They repeat it. They let it grow. Most people define themselves by feelings. They say, "I'm not disciplined. I'm lazy. I'm weak." But feelings are not identity. Habits are. You may feel lazy, but if you get up and do the habit, you are disciplined. You may feel weak, but if you keep the habit, you are strong. Identity is not about how you feel. Identity is about what you repeat. This is where responsibility comes in. Most people blame their past. They say, "I can't change because my parents didn't raise me that way." They say, "It's too late. That's just who I am." But that person takes responsibility. They know every repetition is a choice. Every habit is a decision. Every identity is built in the present, not the past. Fear holds most people back. They say, "What if I fail? What if I look stupid? What if I start and don't finish?" But that person knows courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the habit of acting anyway. One small act of courage, repeated, builds a brave identity. Consistency separates dreamers from doers. Most people act in bursts, 2 weeks of effort, then collapse. That person acts daily. That person doesn't ask, "Do I feel like it?" They ask, "Is this who I am?" Because once a habit becomes identity, discipline becomes natural. The runner doesn't debate the run. The writer doesn't debate the page. The leader doesn't debate the decision. They act because it's who they are. And this is long-term vision. Most people quit because they don't see instant results. They want transformation overnight. But identity is not built in days. Identity is built in decades. That person keeps going, trusting the compound effect. One page becomes a book. One workout becomes a body. One conversation becomes confidence. One habit becomes new identity. And serving others, yes, even here. Because the habits you build do not just shape you. They shape everyone around you. The parent who builds the habit of patience raises children who feel loved. The leader who builds the habit of listening creates a team that thrives. The friend who builds the habit of showing up creates bonds that endure. Your habits echo into other lives. Most people underestimate this ripple. That person understands it. They know one habit can shift not just identity, but legacy. Look at yourself. What do your habits say about you? What identity are you rehearsing every morning, every evening, every choice? Because whether you realize it or not, you are already becoming someone. The question is, are you becoming who you want to be? Most people ignore this question. They drift. They hope. They wait. That person answers it. That person chooses it. That person builds it. And it starts with one habit. One habit equals new identity. Say it until it is carved into your mind. Say it until it drowns out every excuse. Say it until it becomes the rhythm of your life. Because habits are not small. Habits are destiny. You've heard the truth. You've seen the pattern. You've felt the weight of it building through every word. And now it's time to face it directly. Your life is not defined by who you think you are. It is not defined by who you say you are. It is not defined by your dreams, your wishes, or the titles you want people to use when they speak your name. Your life is defined by your habits. Because one habit equals new identity. Say it again. One habit equals new identity. Most people never understand this. They chase the big breakthrough. They wait for the lightning bolt of motivation. They hope for the right time. But the right time never comes. The big breakthrough rarely arrives. The lightning bolt always fades. And while they wait, their lives pass them by. That person, the one who transforms, doesn't wait. They don't look for lightning. They don't beg for breakthroughs. They don't hope for the perfect moment. They choose one habit. They protect it. They repeat it. And through that repetition, their very identity changes. Think about how many times you've said, "This is who I am." But is it? Or is it simply who you've rehearsed being through your habits? You've said, "I'm lazy." But maybe you're not lazy, you've just repeated lazy habits. You've said, "I'm not disciplined." But maybe you're not undisciplined, you've just repeated undisciplined habits. You've said, "I'm not that type of person." But what if you could become that person by building one habit? Mini story 1. A man who had smoked for 20 years said, "I'm a smoker. It's who I am." But when he built the habit of refusing one cigarette at a time, he became something new. He wasn't the smoker trying to quit. He was a non-smoker. Identity shifted because the habit shifted. One habit equals new identity. Mini story 2. A young woman said, "I'm always broke. That's just me." But when she built one habit, saving $5 a day, her life began to change. Months later, she had savings. Years later, she had investments. Her identity shifted. She wasn't the broke one. She was financially disciplined. One habit equals new identity. Mini story 3. A student believed he was bad at math. He carried that identity for years. But he built one habit, 15 minutes of practice every night. He didn't become a genius overnight. But he became the student who practiced. He became the student who improved. He became the student who believed in growth. One habit equals new identity. Mini story 4. A parent said, "I lose my temper. That's just who I am." But then they built one habit, pausing to breathe before responding. One pause at a time. One breath at a time. Weeks later, the children saw a calmer parent. Months later, their family felt safer. They weren't an angry parent. They were a patient one. One habit equals new identity. Mini story 5. An ordinary employee said, "I'm not a leader." But they built one habit, speaking up once in every meeting. Just once. Over time, people noticed. Over time, their voice grew. Over time, their presence shifted. They weren't just an employee anymore. They were a leader. One habit equals new identity. Do you see the power? You don't have to change everything. You don't have to become someone new overnight. You only need one habit. Because one habit equals new identity. Most people will ignore this. They will keep chasing motivation. They will keep waiting for the perfect plan. They will keep saying, "Someday I'll change." But someday is a lie. Someday is how you stay the same. That person, the one who chooses transformation, says, "Today. Right now. One habit. One identity." And here is the truth: every habit is a vote. Every repetition is a ballot cast for the person you will become. Every time you keep the habit, you prove your identity. Every time you break it, you weaken it. Your habits are not just actions. They are evidence. They are proof. They are identity solidified. This is why you must guard them. Protect them. Build them with intention. Most people will tell you, it's just one choice. It's just one cigarette. It's just one skipped workout. It's just one lie. It's just one excuse. But there is no just one. Every one is identity. Every one is momentum. Every one is proof. And the opposite is true. One act of honesty makes you honest. One act of courage makes you courageous. One act of discipline makes you disciplined. Identity is shaped in the smallest of choices. So I ask you, what habit are you building? Who are you becoming? What identity are you rehearsing with every day of your life? This is not theory. This is reality. Look at history. The greatest leaders, the strongest athletes, the most inspiring artists, they did not start with talent. They started with habit. Beethoven did not wake up a genius. He practiced every day. Martin Luther King Jr. did not wake up eloquent. He spoke every day. Michael Jordan did not wake up legendary. He trained every day. Habit carved them. Identity revealed them. Most people will say, "I could never be like them." But you could. Not by magic. Not by miracles. By habits. Because one habit equals new identity. And now the rhythm builds. Because you need to hear it again and again until it pierces the lies you've told yourself. You are not stuck. You are not doomed. You are not defined by your past. You are defined by your habits. And habits can change. Say it with me: one habit equals new identity. Again, one habit equals new identity. Louder. Sharper. Until it is the only voice in your head. Most people drift through life, unconscious of this law. They think identity is a mystery, a secret, a gift given to others but denied to them. But you know the truth now. And truth demands action. What habit will you choose? What identity will you build? If you want courage, build a habit of small risks. If you want wisdom, build a habit of daily learning. If you want strength, build a habit of training. If you want love, build a habit of serving. If you want faith, build a habit of prayer. If you want success, build a habit of discipline. One habit. That is all it takes to begin. But here is the urgency: you cannot wait. Because every day you delay, you cast votes for your old identity. Every day you hesitate, you strengthen the chains of your current habits. Every day you postpone, you surrender your future to your past. You cannot wait. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not when you feel ready. Today. Right now. One habit. One identity. Most people will quit here. Most people will say, "I'll think about it." But that person, the one who rises, takes action today. They build one habit. They protect it with everything. And their life changes forever. This is your climax. This is your moment. Your decision. Your turning point. Who will you be? Not who will you say you are. Not who will you dream of being. Who will you become through your habits? Because the answer is already forming. Your repetitions are writing your identity in stone. Do not waste this moment. Do not let it pass. Choose one habit. Build it. Protect it. Repeat it. Let it carve you into who you are meant to be. Say it again, one habit equals new identity. And when you say it, believe it. And when you believe it, act on it. And when you act on it, you will see it. One habit is enough. Enough to prove you are not weak. Enough to prove you can change. Enough to prove you are alive. Be that person. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Not someday. Today. Because today you choose one habit. And that habit will choose your identity. One habit equals new identity.